Hi guys, this is Becky here at Aunt Beck's Creations, and I'm just going to share what Scott and I found at the thrift store. He actually didn't find anything today, but I found a couple things. We went to the Salvation Army store first, which is on, I can't remember the name of the road, Forest Drive, I think, or something like that. What is it? Divine Street. And the only thing I found there, they did have some yarn at the Salvation Army, but somebody had put it in a ball and they had pulled it really hard. And when you do that and you form a ball and you're not loosely winding it, you're actually stretching it to its farthest point. And this stuff had been stretched beyond recovery. So I just left it there. But I did find this. I'd never seen these before. They're called Transformations, Deco Art for Your Clothes. And they're actually just printed pieces that you can go in and do embroidery in and then use them in a project. Like on this one, they put it on the front of a pair of, what do you call that? A jumper. That's what we would call them, a jumper here in the USA. A jumper in UK is a sweater. So, but then they put it on the back of a coat here and a pillow and some bags. Pre-printed fabric panel, 1 blank fabric strip, 4 die-cut stencil shapes, instructions and ideas. Machine or hand sew the screen printed panel in place. Use the accessory fabric strip to embellish with buttons, beads, or a coordinating stencil. And it was marked 99 cents, but I only had to pay 49 cents for it. For me, an overall is pants. And so a jumper is a dress. That's how my grandmama taught me growing up. So for 49 cents, I thought that would be fun. And then we went to a couple Goodwills, and one we didn't find anything in. We went in, walked around, and left. But the one before it is the one we don't go to very often. It's over near Fort Jackson on Decker Boulevard. And we laugh and we call it the Theater Fog Goodwill, because one time we were in there and we were like, theater fog, who on earth is ever going to buy that? And the guy right behind us was like, I found theater fog. And he bought all the theater fog that they had. So there's something there for everyone. But I picked up a couple books, not that I needed them. This one's by Eleanor Burns, and it's The Flying Geese Quilt in a Day. And my son Greg cannot stand Eleanor Burns. I don't know why. I always loved Eleanor Burns. I think it's because she throws the extra pieces she cuts away over her shoulder and says something like, there you go. Or, yeah. And Greg's like, I don't like her. And I'm like, but I love Eleanor. I think she's very creative and talented. But this is all on flying geese. Hi, Heather. And I paid $1 for this book because it's soft cover. And it's even got instructions to do pillowcases. I wonder, does anybody know if that there was a program called Conquer Cancer with K's, and you would donate pillowcases to cancer patients, usually to the children, I think, on the children's floors. So they'd have something special while they were going through treatment. I need to research and see if Conquer Cancer is still a going project, because I could do some pillowcases up and donate them. That would be a lot of fun to do. I've done that before. I think I donated like 20. Hey, Mary Lou. And I saw Melanie. Hi, Melanie. Then the other one I got was a Better Homes and Gardens all-time favorite pies. And I got it because this pie right here was so popular late 70s, early 80s, right when I was getting through high school, coming out. I graduated high school in 1982. So that is one of those dream pies. Do y'all remember the dream pies where you would you'd make Jello and then you'd take like Cool Whip or Dream Whip and you'd whip the two together and pour it in a pie crust. And that was a dream pie. And so I got it for that recipe. But there's all kinds of other recipes in here. This was my receipt. We spent $23.97. So let me see. A banana rum pie, a lime parfait. This one intrigued me. Upside down berry pie. I'd not seen that one before. I wonder what the copyright is on this. 1978. So like I said, late 70s, early 80s. So then you'll never guess what I found. Mary Lou's going, I know. I got some yarn. I got 3 bags, and we're going to open these and go through them. They had them marked $6.99 a bag. So it's a couple dollars per skein. But some of this is like Isaac Mizrahi yarn, you know, that real high-end, nice stuff. And I'm just going to cut this, and I'll find another bag to put these in. There are several skeins of the homespun. I'm not real thrilled with homespun. I will use it, but it's one of those yarns that once you've used it, you don't really want to use it again because it splits like a But there were some pretty colors. I got this green, and in another one, you'll see some other colors that will go together well in an Afghan or something. This yarn ticks you. It does me too. Let's see. This is some of the Isaac Mizrahi. This was sold at Michael's for like, I want to say $6 a skein. And it's a super chunky, but I thought what a cool basket this would be. In fact, I might go get a big hook. And after I sign off here, I might whip up a basket, and whatever yarn that's left over will go in the basket. That's what I might do with this chunky yarn. So I might create a separate pile for chunky yarn. This one is, this one's actually a Burnett roving yarn. So if I held it and the Isaac Mizrahi together, that would make a super chunky basket. I like to do that where you hold the 2 yarns together and create a basket because it gives such a beautiful texture and look to a basket if you mix your yarns. This one's a slightly thicker than that one, but this is a roving. So if I washed the basket, it would felt to this one. So let me see. This one is a size 6. And this is only a 5. So this is a 5 and this is a 6. But together they would be gorgeous. Everything's better together. People, yarn, everything. This is Woolies Thick and Quick. It's a bulky 6. It's in a color called Monarch. But to me, that doesn't say Monarch. I don't know. That's orange. It's not yellow. But anyway, yeah. This looks like another, it's Lion Brand Quickie Rapido. And it looks like a roving with a thread wrapped around it. I don't know if you can you see the thread wrapped around it? This is called Peppery. It's a bulky 6. So I could even pair it with this roving and I'd get a really beautiful texture. So that'll go for basket making there. This is going in the trash. I don't like to keep the plastic bags because the cats usually don't like them. This is a sport weight yarn, and I don't do a lot with sport weight. But hey ho, this was normally $2.99 a skein. But if I did another baby sweater, this would be a sweet size to use for a baby sweater. Let's see, let's see. My glasses keep falling down my face and driving me nuts. It doesn't give me the little yarn. There it is, a 3. So this is a 3 DK weight. That I'm going to set aside in a different place. And then this package was also $6.99, and I can see there's more Isaac Mizrahi in here. There might actually be enough to just do a project just with his yarn, but I like the idea of mixing the textures. Mary Lou, I knew it. Oh, I hate when the tape gets on the yarn and pulls the fibers all out. Drives me crazy. Oh, it really pulled a lot of fiber. This is another roving of that Bernay. And, oh, I didn't tell you the color. Putty. And I'll put that down there on the floor. Is that one a putty too? Yes. I got a fun fur. And this is fun to pair with other yarns. I made that big blanket that's really beautiful textured and sent it back to JL. JL had sent me a box of yarn, and I started working on a blanket, and I just sent it back to her because I said that was really sweet of her to send this to me, and I want to do something nice for her. So I sent that blanket back, and she and her daughter and the grandkids were fighting over it. It just felt so good. All those different fibers in it, and I paired really super thin yarns with the 4 plies and just worked until I ran out of thread, and then I would just change to something else, and it turned into the beautiful blanket. I have another skein of this Monarch by color by Woolies. I like to keep the Woolies stuff separate from the other. I have separate container for wool. This is lion wool. Now this will be made into a hat for Scott or one of his brothers. And it looks like they had a cat or a dog. It's got cat or dog hair all over it. But once I crochet it into something and wash it, when I wash the stuff, I always use an allergen detergent that removes the allergens if I'm gifting it to somebody, so that if they're allergic to either cat or dog, they're not going to have a problem. This is a 4-weight wool, and the Woolies is, I think, a 6. So we'll put those together. Oh, this is Cottonese. Now this, if I had multiple skeins of this, I could make a summer top out of it, like a summer tank top. But I think I only have the one skein, I think. We'll see. But it's cotton, and it is black. Black goes with everything. I don't see the yarn size on here, so yeah, we'll set that over there. This is a micro spun by Lion Brand. It's ebony is the color, and it says it would take 6 balls to do this ripple shawl they have a pattern for on here. Free pattern inside. Have you guys noticed the labels now say, please visit our website for a pattern? They're not taking the time to print the patterns on the labels anymore, which is sad. But can be cool if you find old yarn with the patterns still in it. A microfiber acrylic. That's what they call this one. And it looks to be, no, it's a little larger than a DK weight, this one here. Then we got some fun yarn. This is another chunky, no label, but it's got, can you see the shiny bits? And each of these bags that I'm opening and going through were each $6.99, but you can tell I've already gotten that back. I'm going to put this with the chunky to go into a basket. And then I do have 2 more of the Isaac Mizrahi. I might look up this yarn and actually see if there's a project I could make myself, because I love these earthy greens like this. To me, this green combination, to me, is a neutral, because you can wear it with all the other colors, because to me, it represents leaves. And, you know, if nature uses leaves on everything, that's what I'm saying. All right. I'm going to put those up here now. So I got 3 skeins of that. I don't worry about dye lots. I've gotten past worrying about that. Another skein of Madness. And this is what I mean. They go together, though. They're earthy. Hi, Ian. So I got these earthy colors. I could do something with those. And we have 1 more bag. Yes, I bought 3 bags of yarn. I was thinking about that dream pie. I might make one tomorrow. You know, bake up a couple pie crusts. You know, you put your pie crust in, and then you put a piece of parchment down, fill it with beans or rice, and then just bake the crust. And then you can pour in your cool flavored pies ingredients, like the dream pie. I might see about that. I'm sure Greg has Jell-O in the cabinet. I would need Cool Whip or Dream Whip, though. My grandmother always got the Dream Whip because it was dry and we could just leave it up in the cabinet until we were ready to use it. This one had a book in it. And I thought, bonus, because I don't have this book. It's 50 stitches for Afghans. Oh, there's 2 books. Score. And this one was $8.95 and this one was $7.95. So this is hats and scarves, and this is Afghan stitches. Oh, bonus. So that right there, I've already gotten back the cost of the whole bag. All right. Madness. Heather, I'm always going to call this Madness. But again, you put those together, and that looks like a beautiful project. Let's see. Sorry I say so much. I have another skein of that Quickie Rapido. Excuse me. So the Quickie Rapido in that gray, and maybe some of the red will be the basket I'm going to make. And I've got another. Oh, there's a 3rd book in here. There's another skein of the Madness. It's actually Lion Brand Homespun is the name of this yarn, but it splits like crazy. When Martha Stewart first came out with that poncho that used this stuff, I made several of those when I was working at Joann's. And then there was a customer came in because she'd seen my poncho. I'd been wearing one of my ponchos. And she said she'd started one. Could I please finish it? Because she was having so much trouble. And that was a big no-no with Joann's at the time. You don't do things like that. So, but I did it, and I told her she couldn't pay me for it. But she got a poncho out of it. All right. This is the Hometown USA by Lion Brand. And it looks like there are 2 skeins of the same color. Cambridge Tweed. So there's 2 skeins of that. And then a skein, another Woolies, which we have Woolies from a couple of the other bags here. They don't really go together very well, but I'll put the wool together. And then there's another book I hadn't even noticed. I think I may have this book, or maybe I have the crochet version. This is Beginner's Guide to Knit Stitches. I don't know if I have this one or not. I'll have to look in my stash. If I have it, I'll give this one away at some point. If I have a duplicate. There's a basic mittens pattern in here. Men's muffler. A men's muffler. To me, I think about muffler and I think of a car's muffler. Something called a Trinity pillow, a cabled pillow. There's the little mittens. I wonder if I could do a pair of mittens. I know Vicki says, when are you going to do the socks? That was the whole reason we started the Monday stitch hour, is so that Becky would do socks. I'll get there. That sweater is pretty. It screams my mother-in-law. That's something she would wear. All right, so 3 books and all this yarn. So $21 for all the yarn and the books, I think is pretty good. And then I got my bonus books that were bought, a couple dollars. I think the pie book was $2 because it's a hardcover. Yep, and that's basically the recipe that I use for pie crust. 2 cups of flour, a teaspoon of salt, 2/3 of a cup. My grandmother, I think, did 2/3 plus 2 tablespoons. I just do 180 milliliters for my shortening, and I cut that into the 2 cups of flour and a teaspoon of salt. Cut that in with a pastry blender, or you can use a couple forks until it looks like peas. And then you just dribble 6 to 7 tablespoons of really cold water onto it and just get it stirred to where it's basically coming together. And then you put it out on your floured surface and don't handle it a lot. Try to get it rolled out to what you need for your pie crust. And pie crust and biscuits, neither one like to be handled. The more you handle it, the tougher that stuff's going to be. I like my crust because it's really super flaky, has lots of layers, and it melts in your mouth. I don't like the bought pie crust you get. They've been over processed to me. I've got some in my freezer, not for me. Greg bought them. And I've told him, I said, I will show you how to make good pie crust. Here's the rhubarb strawberry pie, but I was going to mention this in case Carol would like me to send the ingredients. It's a rhubarb cherry pie, not ingredients, the recipe. I could take a picture of that and email it because Carol has rhubarb. So, yeah. My grandmother had like the whole collection of the Better Homes and Gardens, these thin cookbooks. She had the bread book, the meat book, the vegetable book. I don't know if she had the pie one or not, but then she had Cooking for Two and that kind of stuff. They had a whole series of it. Hi, Safia. How's your little one? How's his eye today? You can't deviate from strawberry rhubarb. And my grandmother would make a rhubarb sauce, just cook rhubarb in a little water real slow until it all turns into kind of mush and sweeten it a little. And then we'd pour that on vanilla ice cream. Oh, that's a treat. I haven't had that since I moved south in 1982. So, yeah, I miss rhubarb. I have never heard anybody growing it here. So, Scott said something about an a-hole. I'm sorry. I don't know what he's watching in there. So, yeah. And then the Eleanor Burns book. I can't wait for Greg to come back from his girlfriend's because I'm going to say, look, I got an Eleanor Burns book. He said, I hate that lady. I was like, I love Eleanor. Why? He just didn't like how she flippantly would throw the fabrics. He said, Mom, you don't do that. I said, no, because I just take those pieces she cut off and I sew them together and make little tiny blocks. All right, that's all I have to share. We're kind of having a goof off day. And, oh, I'm so sorry. like you said, your eye will heal normally quickly. And it's good he's got the antibiotics to, ward off anything that could go sideways. I do have a stack of fabric ready to cut out more dresses. Anne Marie, Anne, I'll just say Ann W. I haven't forgot about the little dress for your granddaughter. I'm having trouble locating fabric in teal with pink flowers. I don't have anything in my stash. We stopped in at Hobby Lobby and the fabric was garbage. Put my hand behind it and I could actually see the marks in my skin. I don't know what's going to happen with the sewing industry now that Joann's is gone. Hobby Lobby is not an option for me. Went in there today and the quality is so bad, I just won't go there again. I do have House of Fabrics. They do not carry a lot of cottons. She's more of, she caters more to the theater groups. She has, and wedding planners. She has a lot of high-end satins, silks, that kind of thing, not cottons. But I will go over there one day and see what she's got. I will keep an eye out for teal with the light pink flowers, but right now I'm stuck. That's why I haven't contacted you to let you know I've got the dress ready to go. And yeah, I may have to just use my stash up and then just be happy with it and see what I find thrifting. All right, I will let you guys go. We are planning to start on our flower project Monday morning at 6:30ish. And I've narrowed down the size of my beginning panel that I'm going to sew my flower scape. I'm going to call it a flower scape on to be 20 inches by 24 inches. So it'll end up, once I've done a border around it, the actual finished size will end up being 19 and a half by 23 and a half, because I'm going to have a 1/4 inch seam taken off each side. All right. Thanks. I'll see you guys on Monday morning. Bye.